just a little.
Tasting it first. Goeienaand en welkom nog 'n keer Kwarantynwyn in die tuin saam met Elaine. For tonight we decided we'll go to one of the stalwarts, we can basically call it, of Stellenbosch. And this is the Vriesenhof Pinot Noir 2013.
Yummy yum.
Now Vriesenhof is owned by Boland Coetzee. Boland has quite a rich history in the winemaking of South Africa. Was the winemaker at Kwarantynwyn. We were there recently for tasting since 1967, and he was there till about 1976 before he left and went to Burgundy, basically on the hunt or on the search for terroir.
Explain terroir.
Now Jan is, as we call him, Jan, he's probably the first winemaker in South Africa to actually talk and understand terroir and try to teach other winemakers at that time about terroir as well. Now, terroir is a French term which basically embodies everything that a vine needs to grow. So a vineyard is planted, and the terroir is the soil, it's the climate, it's the aspect of the hill, it's the sun it gets, it's the wind, it's even the winemaker can be considered part of the terroir.
Yes. So basically terroir is everything that goes in to keeping a vine happy.
Yeah, but also giving a wine a sense of place. So you might have Pinot Noir planted on one spot, on two different spots, two different terroirs, same Pinot Noir, same winemaking style, same everything, but the wines will be different, and that is what terroir is. Terroir is I almost want to say it's like the fingerprint it leaves of the wine, the fingerprint of where it comes from.
That's a really good way of putting it, the fingerprint. Say?
Now, Jan in 1980 bought Vriesenhof Wine Estate and started making wines there. Of course, some Cabernet. Today, he's also a big lover of Chardonnay. He was one of the first people to bring Chardonnay, if not the first person to bring Chardonnay into the country, around 1983.
Wasn't
the story goes...
like a sneaky story there?
Story goes that he snuck it in between rolled up in the diapers of his son.
Thanks, Jan. Stoked.
So at least, we have Chardonnay now. But also a big love of Pinot Noir. And Pinot Noir, as he also says, is one of the grape varieties that probably shows where it comes from the most. It is very true to where it comes from. And it shows it in the wine. It's a difficult grape variety to grow. It's temperamental, but it can be very, very rewarding as well in that sense. Now, since about 2009, Jan got a winemaker, Nicky Claasens, to join him there. And I must say, what Nicky has done over the last 11, 12, 13 years, basically, or 13 vintages, is he almost, I don't want to say cleaned up Vriesenhof a little bit, but he gave it a little bit more of youthful life, if you can say that. And people asked Nicky when he took over the job, and asked him, it's like, isn't it going to be really difficult to fill those big shoes or footprints that Jan has put in forward for you? And basically he just said, well, maybe not really, because Jan hardly ever wears shoes. So I found that very, very interesting.
That's very sweet.
Now, the Pinot Noir we're having in the glass of 2013, of course, now 7 years from vintage. It has developed a little bit. I still think it's a wine we need to decant. Give it a little bit of air.
Yes,
it's one of those wines that just develops in the glass and over the next couple of hours in the decanter. That's the nice thing about wines from Vriesenhof. They are extremely complex, and they change and they evolve, and they keep on making you going back to the glass and gives you something more.
Don't they have like an unusual way of releasing their wines?
They have had they've had times, especially on the Pinot Noir, where Jan would go like, yeah, the 2009 is still a bit young, so we'll release the 2011 first, and so forth. So they've done where they've released younger vintages before older vintages, because the vintages just weren't 100% ready yet.
I just love that. I love the confidence that he has in his wines, hey?
But you must see
But
how this man tastes. He's meticulous. He can analyze a wine. If you put a Burgundy in front of him, he can tell you what it is. Well, if you pour it from blind, he can tell you what it is, where it comes from, and so forth.
Incredible.
It's one of the best tasters I've ever seen in action in my
And
life.
that's not easy, hey? It's not easy.
But let's quickly talk about the wine. The wine itself is not as, let's put it, perfumey and fruit-driven as what you would get from Hermanus or Elgin. This is a little bit more savory on the nose. There is some
Definitely
tomato
savory.
leaf. If you walk past a tomato plant and you touch the green leaf and you smell your hands, it has a little bit of that. Now, there's 2 clones used in the production of this Pinot Noir, 777 and 115, and both of them gives their own little attributes to Pinot Noir. If my memory serves me correctly, 777 can be a little bit more on the vegetative side, which gives you that tomato savory kind, and 115 is a little bit more perfumey side, which is the strawberry sour cherry side. I speak under correction.
Okay, can you quickly explain how that works? So basically, when you say 777 and what was the other one?
115.
115. So those are clones that they get from other vineyards.
Yeah. So, but
But
you
how
must
does
understand
that
that
work?
a vine is an interesting plant where it actually mutates over time, and it cross pollinates with another vine and so forth. But we're talking hundreds of years back. So where there's Pinot Noir, there's not just one type of Pinot Noir. It's like a rose. It's not just red roses. There's yellow roses and white roses. So in the end of the day, it's still a rose, it's still Pinot Noir, but there's different types. But now, of course, in today's modern age, we can sort of manipulate the plants a little bit. And you know that, for instance, a 777 will work better on one side than what 115 would be. And there's a 667 and 113. There's loads of these.
But my question is, okay, so what do they do when they get those in? So you get the 777 and the 115. They get them in. What then happens? How does that become wine in the glass?
Well, you will vinify them probably separately, because you'll have a vineyard of 777 and a vineyard of 115, and you'll vinify them separately.
Okay, so
and
they,
you'll, in
they
the end of the
grow
day,
those clones.
yeah, and in the end of the day, it'll still be a blend of the Pinot Noir.
I see. So
Pinot Noir clone.
okay,
Depending what the vintage gives you.
I see.
So
Wow, okay.
if maybe the 115 is showing a little bit better than the 777, you might use more of the 115 than the 777 that year. But you always try to get the balance and so forth. And also, when you make wine from a wine estate, you want to have a fingerprint once again running through your vintages. You don't want your 1 year's wine to taste completely different from the next year. Although they will taste differently, you want a fingerprint or some form or line of similarity to run through it that shows you once again the sense of place.
Yes. Okay.
That is so true.
Oh yes, which reminds me, there's a lovely quote from Jan, and the quote is, "If the grapes feel at home on the land, then the story will be written by the land." Hey?
The wine will tell the story that was written by the land. Yeah, something like
Yes.
that. Yes, very beautiful.
Yes, I'm so lyrical and so poetic and so awesome. I mean, it really does tell the story about wine, because that is exactly what wine is.
Yeah, but I sometimes think Pinot Noir is the most poetic of the great
Well,
varieties.
it has
Let's
to
put
be,
it
because
that way.
it's the most difficult. You know, all artists are difficult,
Yeah,
and
you
I
can
think
definitely-
Pinot Noir is definitely the artist out of all the grape
Yeah,
varieties.
I bet you on a bad vintage you can probably smell the winemaker's pain.
Yeah.
But thanks to Jan. Nicky, sorry to see you go. Hopefully in Germany you'll make something other than only Riesling, maybe some Blaufränkisch or something like that, some other stuff that's closer to Pinot Noir. Maybe even some Pinot Noir in Germany as well. But to Jan and Nicky, and of course Eddie there at Vriesenhof, thanks for giving us some great wines with some great longevity.
Yes.
And we hope to see you guys soon. So from us here in Kwarantynwyn,
Stay safe.
stay safe. Cheers.
Wear a mask, please. After Cyril's speech last night, guys,
Yeah.
seriously.
Stay safe.
Stay
Follow
safe.
the rules. Drink your wine.
Cheers.
Cheers.